$30,000, step 19, plus the 3,500, M24. What's M24?
That means he has his master's degree plus an additional 24 graduate credits.
Okay.
And that is in the teacher contract.
Okay,
one
so
of their steps.
change of status. What do you mean by change of status? What was he before?
He was an assistant principal at MIHS.
So
He's-
now
He's going back to the classroom.
he's going back to the classroom.
Correct.
And he's actually going to teach.
Yes,
Correct.
and be involved with the middle school wrestling program.
Okay. Is that a separate stipend?
It could be, they haven't filled those yet, I don't think, but it could be. Because he would go back into the teacher contract, and he'll be a teacher, recognized as a teacher.
I think it will be, because he got a stipend as the assistant principal to do wrestling last year, and again, they said nobody was wanting to do it or something, so yeah, I'm sure he'll get a stipend to do wrestling.
And that's
That's everybody gets a
that's
stipend
after
to do
school.
sports, so.
The
Correct.
stipend is after school.
Correct.
And that's after school at what time during the day?
So as a middle school teacher, he would be contracted to be there from 7:45 to 2:45. So
So
the
that's his
practices
tour of
after
duty.
school, that would have to take place after 3 o'clock.
Okay, so that's his tour of duty, to be at the school at 2:45.
7:45 to 2:45 in an instructional
Right.
capacity, yes.
Now, occasionally, our coaches will go out to a tournament or something, and then they bring in a substitute, but that's just the standard operating procedure. I mean, when there's something out of town or whatever, they've done that with all our coaches because they're all teachers. So there are times where they're off for the day and a $75 or whatever it costs us for Kelly Services, they bring in a substitute, but I think that's pretty rare.
Yeah, and that's pretty rare, particularly at the middle school level. What's more likely is they might have a game, let's say at or a match in this case for wrestling, in Warren, which takes some considerable amount of time to travel to. So your principal of that building would cover for a teacher using other teachers who are on their planning time, so that teacher could leave early to attend their event versus paying for a sub.
Now, with Ms. Caro, he was the assistant principal?
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah. He has his principal certificate?
Correct.
Yes,
Does he get credit for that in his salary?
Well, that's how it's laid out there. That's the M24. Master's plus 24. Would be 24 additional credits above his master's degree.
But the certificate is separate from your master's degree.
correct.
Correct.
The M means he has his master's, the 24 means he has 24 additional credits beyond.
Right, I understand that. I understand. Does a teacher who obtains his or her principal's certificate, do they receive extra money?
Not for the principal's certificate per se. They do for the credits that they earn in attaining that certificate. And it's at incremental amounts, 12 credits, 18 credits, 24 credits.
Okay.
That's in the contract.
So it's not the actual certificate itself, but
Correct.
the work that they
Correct.
can get there.
Correct, because you would need more credits than that to have your cert.
Thank you.
Okay, we do not have any informational items for personnel and policy. Do we have any questions from the public? Yes.
Hi,
Ms. Hagan.
I'm Bonnie Fagan. Most of you know me. I was just a couple of comments. First of all, I'm really happy to see I haven't been to a COW meeting for a while, and I'm happy to see on the policies that we've moved away from the first and final reading, that apparently this just says first reading now, so perhaps there's still opportunity for input. And I didn't look at the punch down information, so I don't know, but I still do a lot of work with I'm the regional director for all the PTAs in the Erie area, so I work with all of our school districts' PTAs. And I'm just curious, I'll be looking to see does the non-school organization groups and individuals, do the PTAs fall into that? Do you know, Janine or Mrs. Mosley, or
Off the top of my head.
Hold on a second, I need to see which one you're referring to.
913? It's always a question of how, the PTAs are perceived, if they're considered, since they're definitely school related, but I was just curious.
So it affects non-school organizations, groups, or individuals with non-school materials that they're wishing to distribute, or post. And then it has a list of prohibited activities and materials that can be given out. It does not single out the PTA in any way, but it does do things like, delegate how materials can be handed out to students. It does talk about fundraising in the sense that, it's prohibited by non-school organizations that are not affiliated with the district.
Okay.
So in my mind, that does not affect PTA. You are
Okay.
directly affiliated with the district in our buildings.
All right, I mean, that's good, that's what I was hoping to hear, and I know Mr. Hall, I believe you're still meeting with the PTA presidents, I'm just kind of, feeling that out to see what the status is, to make sure that the PTAs are still being considered as school-related organizations, and if you're having meetings with the PTA presidents, you might want to apprise them about this new policy, so to ward off any reactions, and I'll be communicating that with the PTA presidents as well, and then the school volunteer policy, dare we go there again, but nothing.
The only change is to update us from the 3-year to the 5-year.
Okay, you're just meeting up with the
Correct.
PSBA requirements and things like that. Okay, because I'm at the brink of communicating with my PTA presidents, I was just curious, and I know that Mr. Hall will be meeting.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Mosley, let me piggyback on what Bonnie just mentioned. All these proposed policies, will they be posted on the website prior to the board meeting? I think it's on the 22nd.
Yes, so if you recall, Mr. Aliota, when Ms. McClintock took over our committee, she came up with a new structure where we did address that piece. So after each committee of the whole, Ms. Sitter the next morning or sometime throughout the next day posts the drafts online under the Board Docs public site, so anyone can see the drafts. That way, we still maintain the board seeing the drafts first, then the public seeing them. The public can offer input, and then when we come together at a board meeting, if there are needs for changes, we can table until the next month.
For the second reading.
Correct.
Okay. Just want to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay, ready to move on, I think. Do you have any other questions?
Okay, thank you, Ms. McClintock.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Moving on to instruction and student services. Mr. Osborne.
Thank you
How are you,
for
sir?
leaving the best for last. All right. All right, we're going to begin with 15.01, the Women's Care Center contract agreement, 9th grade health class. This is an agreement where representatives from the Women's Care Center come in, is it 4 times a year? Teaching our 9th grade health classes, or assisting the faculty. 15.02, the Dyslexia and Early Literacy Intervention Pilot Program Grant Contract. Is a $60,000 PDE grant targeting intervention in grades kindergarten and first. It's mostly staff development, training, and materials. Under section 1503, we have a couple of contracts from the Barber National Institute for the 2016-2017 school year. Ed, this was under your jurisdiction, I think. Here, do you want to elaborate a little bit on those?
Sure. We have the Dr. Richard Barber Center is an approved private school where we send, usually we have between 11 and 12 students attending their first school year based upon their IEP team decision that they need to be placed in a setting like that in order to receive free appropriate education. These contracts are above and beyond the tuition at the Barber Center. Most of the kids at the Barber Center are at the Barber Center as an approved private school student. So PDE pays 60% of their tuition, we pay 40% of their tuition. These 4 students have needs that are above and beyond the general services that the Barber Center supplies. So there's 1 student who gets extra physical therapy and occupational therapy, and there's 3 students who all need one-to-one direct paraprofessional support for them to be able to benefit from their environment. So that's what this contract is for.
Thank you.